here I am with Experiential Learning Depot, and this video is going to talk about 21st century skills. So 21st century skill building in your classroom or in your home learning environment, the importance of skill building, how to really provide your students with opportunities for skill building, and then how I have my students manage their skill building experiences into a portfolio. Okay, so what are 21st century skills? I have heard 21st century skills given different names. So soft skills is one term that is often applied to 21st century skills. The 4 C's and the 6 C's I've heard used in the world of education. So communication, collaboration, critical thinking, communication, did I say that? Creativity. So the C's. So they're these characteristics or these competencies that are important in life and in the workplace aside from those hard skills like reading and writing and science and content knowledge. These are these other things that are going to really help students or anyone really succeed and compete in life after high school. Let's just go back here for a second. This is definitely not a full list of 21st century skills, but these are some examples. Empathy, being tolerant, reliable, open-minded, cooperative, a lifelong learner, and so on. You get the point. So why are 21st century skills important? One of them is to prepare for uncertainty. And in the last year and a half or so, we've discovered that there's a lot of uncertainty in life, and it's great to be able to adapt and to be prepared for those changes and those things that come up. So being skilled in some of these 21st century skills really helps students brace for uncertainty and change. It helps students navigate information in a world where there is a lot of it. There's a lot of information for students to rifle through. Some of those 21st century skills, such as tech literacy and information literacy, really help students navigate that plethora of information. Real world problem solving, character building, being competitive in the workplace, staying relevant, and fostering innovation. So some 21st century skill building activities that I like to use. I'm an experiential educator, so I don't do a lot of worksheets. I don't do a lot of lecture. You're not going to really give students full opportunity for 21st century skill building by giving them worksheets. They're just not for that. Worksheets have their place. Skill building is not one of those things. Soft skill building anyway. So my number one go-to learning activity for skill building is self-directed project-based learning, where students design, execute, and lead their own project-based learning experiences. And PBL is really collaborative. It's really relational. So those 21st century skills like communication, networking, collaboration are really powerful in project-based learning. Problem-based learning, the obvious skill that you're building there is problem solving, but there's also a lot of relational stuff going on there too, if you so choose. And critical thinking and analytical thinking, creativity even, design thinking. Design thinking is solutions-based, where students focus on a problem, a real-world problem, and they create a solution. So rather than have it be this hypothetical thing like problem-based learning often is, design thinking, students are actually making the solution to whatever the problem is. So there's a lot of creativity there. Same thing with STEM and STEAM. Scientific open inquiry is really great for research skills. Scientific open inquiry is when students ask their own questions and design their own experiments and then execute those. And then service learning, so many skills involved in that. And then educational travel. I used to travel with my students. We had a travel program, and the sheer number of skills involved in educational travel is wild. So if you have the opportunity to take your own children or to go on a travel experience with students, that is a number one educational or a number one 21st century skill building experience, because there's pretty much all of them on that list that I just showed you are involved in educational travel in some way. All right, so documenting these competencies. This is my 21st Century Skills portfolio, where students add evidence of 21st century skill building. So problem solving. Let's say we're going to do a problem-based learning experience, and this student wants to work on problem solving and collaboration. And then there are a variety of other skills on this list that problem-based learning would also incorporate. And there's some others. Okay, so I am going to skip that. That's just an evaluation where students can self-evaluate. So these are the ones I'm going to work on. Problem solving and collaboration with this problem-based learning experience. So this problem-based learning experience that my teacher assigned to me is all about wolves in Minnesota. They're problematic for farmers. They're problematic for just locals. And so for this problem-based learning experience, I am going to talk with a variety of perspectives, people with different perspectives on the wolf issue in Minnesota. So I'm going to try to talk to a farmer. I'm going to try to talk to a scientist, a conservationist, and maybe a northern Minnesota resident. And then I am going to summarize those interviews and put them into my portfolio to document that skill building experience. I'm also going to work on collaboration. And I'm going to do that by working with the local wildlife conservation center and with local farmers. And we're going to come together and have these brainstorming sessions of solutions that will solve the problem across the board. So how can we keep the environmental part of this, the ecosystem, healthy by keeping wolves around while protecting farmers' livestock and people's pets and so on. And part of that is going to be getting together with a variety of partners and collaborators. And then I'll take a photograph of those brainstorming sessions and put them into my portfolio, where I will document that skill building experience. So then, part of this portfolio is providing evidence, just this laundry list of skill building opportunities that I've had. I'm a student that did this problem-based learning experience. One of the skills that I wanted to work on was collaboration. I worked with biologists from the Wildlife Center and that rehabilitate wolves. That exists here in Minnesota. It's a real place, and my students have gone there and actually done this activity that I'm talking about. And then we brainstorm solutions together with local farmers, me, and these conservationists and biologists. And then put together a comprehensive plan. And that's what problem-based learning is for my students, that they look at all the perspectives, they take solutions from all sides and try to make a comprehensive solution that keeps the environment safe, that doesn't hurt the local economy, and so on. So that is how that's an example of how a student might do a learning activity that incorporates a variety of skills. So in this case, collaboration, partnering, networking, empathy. So really thinking about the variety of perspectives involved in this issue, this local issue in Minnesota. It's not as easy as let's just let wolves attack livestock. That's a problem. It's a problem for the community. It's a problem for the economy. But we can't just let there be an open hunt on wolves either, because that's a problem for the ecosystems. So anyways, the point is that a variety of skill building experiences were included in this problem-based learning activity, and students have gone back into their portfolios and reflected on the experience and how that experience helped them build, in this case, collaboration skills. So that's kind of the gist of it and how you use this resource. So I have this resource for sale in my Teachers Pay Teachers store. I am going to put these links in the description. here, but I have a variety of skill building activities that my students do. So when I was talking about project-based learning, problem-based learning, design thinking, I have toolkits for all of those experiences that you can grab, and that's in my 21st Century Skill Building Activities Toolkit bundle. I will link that. And then right here, this 21st Century Skill Building Portfolio, that's what I was just putting that collaborative problem-based learning experience into. And I give that resource to my students at the beginning of the year, and they add to it as we go. So I will give them Friday mornings, for example, to add to that, and then by the end of it, by the end of the session or by the end of the experience, they have this beautiful portfolio of evidence to showcase 21st century competencies that they can then bring with them because it's digital. I also have a 21st Century Skills blog series. So if you're more interested in kind of quick tips on getting 21st century skill building opportunities into your curriculum, either in your homeschool or in your classroom, I highly recommend you go check out that blog series. There's a post on why it's important. It gets a little bit more into detail than what I talked about here. Ways to implement 21st century skill building in your learning environment and so on. So check that out, and just generally check out my website, experientiallearningdepot.com in general. There's a whole lot on self-directed project-based learning like I've already talked about here. So as you start this new school year, really think about how you're going to get 21st century skill building opportunities to your students because they need it. It's a balance between content knowledge and having these other skills to really do well in the world. So check out all of these resources, and if you have any questions, contact me at experientiallearningdepot@gmail.com. Thanks.